Join the HOA chaos. Like, subscribe, and remember, Karen is always watching. When I moved into the neighborhood, I thought I'd found peace. Clean streets. Quiet neighbors. A nice little cul-de-sac with a mix of young families and retired couples. Everything was good. Until I met her. Karen. President of the HOA. And self-declared protector of property values. She introduced herself within 5 minutes of me unloading boxes. Didn't say welcome. Didn't ask if I needed help. Instead, she just said, "Make sure you review the HOA rules. We run things a certain way here." At first, I thought she was just uptight. Maybe bored. Maybe lonely. But 2 weeks in, she slapped a $50 fine on me for parking in my own driveway. Let that sink in. My own driveway. The reason. Driveway use violates aesthetic standards if not inside the garage. I thought it was a mistake. I called. I emailed. I even showed her the deed that clearly included rights to the driveway. She didn't care. "The HOA rules are clear," she said, tapping a stack of papers. "If we start making exceptions, everything falls apart." She handed me another fine 2 days later, for overnight vehicle visibility. It was my daily driver. Parked outside for 6 hours because I was cleaning the garage. She wasn't enforcing rules. She was targeting me. And then she started copying other neighbors on her emails, saying I was setting a bad example and not respecting the community's standards. The worst part. Some people believed her. They stopped waving when I drove by. A few even asked if I was the one cluttering up the street. That's when I decided. If Karen wanted to play games, she'd picked the wrong person. Because what she didn't know. I'm not just a renter. I'm a land developer. And I had the time, the resources, and the creativity to give her a taste of her own medicine. Legally. Quietly. And permanently. I didn't argue anymore. Didn't reply to her emails. I just paid the fines and smiled when I saw her. Because behind the scenes, I was setting something up. See, our HOA backs onto an empty wooded lot. Roughly 2 acres. Unused. Forgotten. But zoned for residential or commercial use. And guess what? It was for sale. Listed under a quiet local broker. Most people didn't even know it was on the market. Karen definitely didn't. Within a week, I'd called the owner, toured the lot, and made an offer. Cash. No contingencies. He was thrilled. A few days later, it was mine. That entire lot, right behind Karen's backyard, belonged to me now. And here's where it gets good. I submitted paperwork to the city for a mixed-use project. Nothing crazy. Just 6 small rental units and a parking strip. Totally legal. Fully compliant. And just barely within the noise and boundary limits of the HOA. The permit got approved. And soon, bulldozers showed up to clear the land. Karen lost it. She came marching across her lawn, arms flailing, yelling over the machines. "What is this?" "This is a quiet community." I calmly waved and said, "Oh, just a little project. Nothing against the HOA rules, right?" Her face turned red. She demanded to know who owned the land. I told her. She looked like she'd swallowed a lemon. But you can't just build apartments back there." I pulled out the permit papers. "Actually, I can. Want a copy?" She stormed off, muttering something about lawyers. The best part? Every time she stepped into her backyard now, she saw workers. Construction sounds from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Legally timed. Perfectly loud. But I wasn't done yet. I designed the layout so that the parking lot lights shined, you guessed it, right toward her windows. All within code. All permitted. All fair. That was phase 1. Phase 2. Even better. A few months later, construction wrapped up. 6 small units. Fully rented. Each one legal, quiet, and professionally managed. But every single one had back patios that faced Karen's yard. She now had 6 new neighbors. Students, young couples, a retired vet with a loud laugh. All friendly. All polite. All parked right where she could see them. The HOA tried to fight it. But the land wasn't under their jurisdiction. I'd made sure of that when I purchased it. It was technically just outside the HOA's control zone. So Karen was stuck. She couldn't find them. She couldn't find me. And every time she stepped outside, she saw what her pettiness built, a legal reminder that she wasn't in control. But the final blow. I put up a community bulletin board on the edge of the new development. And on it, I pinned a printed copy of the original fine she gave me, for parking in my own driveway. Underneath, I wrote, "All of this, because of that." A few neighbors laughed. One even told me, honestly, she had it coming. Karen stopped attending HOA meetings shortly after. She resigned from the board without a word. No apology. No note. Just silence. And peace. Now, I park wherever I want. My driveway, the guest lot, even near the mailboxes if I feel like it. Because in the end, I didn't break the rules. I just used them better.